Welcome to Shelf Help, a channel dedicated to talking to the void about whatever book I happen to be reading. I am your host, the reader. The following review will contain spoilers. Epic fantasy is a trope-heavy genre. There is a certain country mouse, city mouse dynamic always at play. There's almost always a chosen one. Prophecies abound, and good and evil have a distinct separation. They also tend to be long. Malice isn't breaking the mold. It's a large book that starts out a series of large books. You're looking at about 100 pages of character introductions before things actually get started. The background of this world is that it has two gods, Elyon, the Allfather, and Azeroth, the Lightbearer. Elyon is the good god, and after the God War, he imprisons Azeroth and turns it back on the world in his grief. He is served by the Ben-Elm, who have purple eyes and white feathered wings. Azeroth is the evil god, who broke with Elyon and tried to destroy the world. He is served by the Kedoshim, who have leathery wings, gold eyes, and swords covered in shadows. If you're familiar with your biblical mythology, Lucifer also translates to Lightbringer or Lightbearer. But the gods and their servants play very little role in this story, with one exception. There's also a prophecy. It's only partly translated in this book, but speaks of a black sun who will be the champion of Azeroth, and a bright star who will champion Elyon. As with most epic fantasies, it's a large cast, so I'm just going to hit the highlights for the ones most important to this story. Our main character is Corbin. He's the blacksmith's son in a village in the country of Ardain, under the rule of King Brennan and Queen Alana. He has an older sister who is an expert at throwing knives and works in a stable. He's friends with a fisherman's son who has a talent for archery. The majority of Corbin's story revolves around simply growing up. His ambition is to be a warrior in the service of his king. His parents have raised him and his sister to believe in the virtues of truth and courage. When he loses a fight to an older boy who's already started his warrior training, the stable master Gar offers to begin training him ahead of his official warrior training. Gar's style is different. More dance and speed, less brute strength. Gar also comes from outside the village and is a little dodgy on exactly where that is and how he got to Dun Carriage. During a hunt, Corbin saves a wolven pup from being killed, defying older warriors and invoking the king's justice on the pup's behalf. With the king out, it is the queen whom he makes his case to that the pup is innocent and does not deserve to be killed just because it happens to be a wolven. She grants him the pup, provided it does not hurt anyone. He names the pup Storm. It does not make him any more popular with the locals. He grows, receives a colt sired by Gar's stallion that he names Shield. After the queen is killed by a neighboring kingdom, war is on the horizon. Our other main character is Veridus. He is the second son of the Baron of Rippa, a coastal city. His older brother is a famed warrior, and his younger brother, though crippled, is brilliant. His father has never gotten over the death of his mother. It has left him feeling less than appreciated. So when he is accepted into the warband of Nathir, the crown prince, in the line for the throne of High King, he sees it as a chance to prove his worth. He quickly forms a friendship with the prince and rises to the rank of First Sword. Both make him feel wanted and needed, something that's been missing his entire life. It makes his loyal absolute. After hearing the prophecy of the Black Sun at a meeting of kings, Nathir becomes convinced that he is the champion of Elyon, the bright star. He faints during the prophesied eclipse and wakes up more convinced than ever. Veridus jumps to do Nathir's bidding, equally convinced that he is in the service of the chosen of God. As I said from the beginning, epic fantasy tends to have a country mouse, city mouse dynamic. The country is viewed as pure and good, and the city as a place of corruption and fear. Corbin's ambitions are small. He wants to be a warrior, serve his king, protect his home and family. He steps up to defend the weak, befriends the outcasts, and makes a pet of a dangerous wolfen against the wishes of older warriors. Nathir's ambitions are huge. Not only is he already the crown high prince, he claims as his own the honor of being the champion of the Allfather. He raises an army to fight the coming war, invents the phalanx, begins the search for the treasures lost in the last God War, and marks as enemy anyone who opposes him. No one is allowed to dissent. You are with him as the champion of Elyon, or you are against him on the side of Azeroth, and those with Azeroth must die, no questions asked. Corbin, however, never accuses any of his bullies of being evil, even if he does not like them. In fact, at one point, he is given a chance to fight his lifelong bully Wrath with a real sword. He refrains from hurting him more than the perfunctory cut on the cheek to draw first blood, and even though he beats him soundly. Then he smarts off to the king, who is drunk. A truth said with courage. A major theme that runs through this book is truth and courage. It is expressed by Corbin's parents, King Brennan, and High King Aquilus, and several more. It is a good way to see who is on which side. When King Mandros is accused of killing High King Aquilus and stabbing High Prince Nathir, Beridus uses Nathir's army and his own authority to hunt down and kill him without a trial. Several kings and barons object to this and demand an investigation, both into the original crime and into the slaying of Mandros. It is this questioning of his authority as the chosen of Elyon that causes Nathir and Beridus to mark these people as enemies. King Aquilus, before his death, tried to impress upon his son the importance of truth and courage. But Nathir can't see beyond his own ambition. I do like the theme. The truth can sometimes be a hard pill to swallow, and it takes courage to see beyond what you want. Which brings us to Calidus. Remember that exception I said earlier? This is him. He comes to Nathir as an advisor, a mystic, and claims to be a member of the Bin Elm. He tells Nathir exactly what he wants to hear. Nathir never questions, never looks the gift horse in the mouth. I think in large part this is because Nathir is seeking the approval of his parents. Unlike Corbin, whose parents spend a lot of time with him, and who has a sister and friends, Nathir stands alone. His parents are the High King and Queen of the Banished Lands, and have vast responsibilities. He has no siblings, and before Beridus, no apparent friends. It had to be a very lonely childhood. With his father's obsession with the prophecy, it seems likely Nathir latched onto the idea of being the bright star as a form of approval-seeking. I'm going to put this on my second shelf. This is a good book, but still fairly standard epic fantasy. It's not really stretching the boundaries in any way. Corbin is the most interesting of the point of view characters, simply by being the one who has the most room for growth. By contrast, Beridus isn't an interesting character and largely serves as a window into Nathir's actions. Thank you for your time. I know everyone's mileage will vary, so feel free to leave your thoughts.